Right, I need you to stop scrolling for just a second because what I'm about to tell you could mean the difference between having an extra 300 pounds in your pocket this winter or losing it completely. And here's the thing that's really got me rattled about this situation. Most people who are going to lose this money don't even know they're losing it. They think everything is fine. They think it's automatic. They think the government will just sort it out like it always has. But it won't. Not this year. There's a deadline 27 September, and once that date passes, that's it. No appeals process, no second chances, no, oh sorry, we'll pop it in next month. Gone. So who exactly is affected? What do you actually need to do? And is there any way to still get this money if you've already missed something? I've spent a good few hours going through the official Hummer C and W para guidance so you don't have to, and I'm going to walk you through absolutely everything in plain English. No confusing government jargon, no vague advice, just exactly what you need to know and exactly what you need to do. Stay with me, because this one genuinely matters. Here's what we're going to cover today. First, I'll explain what's actually changed with the winter fuel payment and why so many pensioners are suddenly at risk of missing out. Then I'll tell you who is still eligible and, just as importantly, who isn't anymore. After that, I'll walk you through the specific action steps you need to take before 27 September, including what to do if you're not sure whether you qualify. And finally, I'll cover what happens if someone in your life, a parent, a neighbor, a friend, might be affected but doesn't know about this yet. By the end of this video, you will know exactly where you stand, so let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about what's actually happened here, because this is a significant shift from how things used to work. For years, the winter fuel payment was essentially universal for anyone over a certain age. If you were old enough, you got it. Simple as that, it went out automatically, you didn't have to do anything, and millions of pensioners across the UK received either £250 or £300 every year to help with heating bills over winter. That changed last year when the government announced that the winter fuel payment would now be means tested. That's the official term for it, means tested, which basically just means it's no longer automatic for everyone. From now on, you only receive it if you're also receiving certain other benefits. Now, I know some people have strong feelings about that decision, and honestly, that's a fair conversation to have, but today isn't about the politics of it. Today is about making sure that if you are still entitled to this money, you actually receive it, because the system has changed and the process for claiming it has changed. And a lot of people simply haven't been told clearly enough what they now need to do. The 27 September deadline is the cutoff for the winter fuel payment for this coming winter. If you want that payment in your account before the cold really sets in, action needs to happen before that date. Some of that action is on the DUP side, but some of it crucially is on yours. And here's something a lot of people don't realize. Even if you're entitled to the benefit that unlocks the winter fuel payment, you might not actually be receiving that benefit yet, and that's the gap we're trying to close today. So let's talk about eligibility, because this is where a lot of the confusion is happening. To receive the winter fuel payment this year, you need to meet two conditions. One, you need to have been born on or before a specific qualifying date, which for this payment period puts you in your mid-60s or older, and two, you need to be receiving at least one of the qualifying benefits. The main benefit that unlocks the winter fuel payment is pension credit. If you're already receiving pension credit, you're in a much better position. The winter fuel payment should come to you automatically, as long as everything is in order with your claim. But here's the bit that's really important, so I want you to listen carefully to this part. Pension credit is massively underclaimed. The government's own figures have suggested that around a third of people who are entitled to pension credit are not actually claiming it. That's hundreds of thousands of people, and many of those people are also, as a result, missing out on the winter fuel payment. Why don't people claim it? Honestly, a few reasons. Some people don't know it exists. Some people think they won't qualify because they have some savings or a small private pension. Some people feel uncomfortable claiming benefits. There's still a lot of stigma around it, which is such a shame, because this is money that exists specifically to support people in later life who need a bit of extra help, and some people have just never got round to it. If you're over pension age, you live in England or Wales, and your weekly income is below certain thresholds, roughly £218 a week if you're single, or around £332 a week if you're a couple, you could well be entitled to pension credit, and those thresholds can be higher if you have disabilities or caring responsibilities. Now, I'm not going to pretend the numbers are simple, they're not, because pension credit calculations can get a bit complex depending on your situation. But the point is this: don't assume you won't qualify without actually checking, because the consequences of assuming you don't qualify when actually you do could mean losing £300 this winter. Right, let's talk about this deadline properly, because I think people are hearing 27 September and not fully understanding what it actually means in practice. Here's how the winter fuel payment system works. There's what's called a qualifying week. This is a specific week in September this year. It falls in mid to late September, during which your eligibility is assessed. To receive the payment, you need to be receiving an eligible benefit during that qualifying week. This is why the 27 September date matters so much. If your pension credit claim is approved and in payment by that qualifying week, you should be entitled to the winter fuel payment. If your claim hasn't been processed yet, or if you haven't applied yet, you could miss the window. Now, here's a piece of genuinely good news that I want to make sure you know about because it's slightly buried in the official guidance and a lot of people miss it. Pension credit can be backdated. You can request that a successful claim is backdated by up to 3 months. What this means in practice is that even if you apply right now, even in the next few days, there's still a chance that, if your claim is approved, it could be backdated to cover that qualifying week in September. And this is a but you need to actually make the claim that backdating doesn't happen automatically. You have to ask for it and you need to get moving because the closer we get to that deadline, the tighter the margins become. So if you're watching this and you haven't checked whether you're entitled to pension credit, I want you to do that today, not tomorrow, today. Okay, so let's get practical. What do you actually need to do, step by step? Step 1. Check if you might be entitled to pension credit. The quickest way to do this is to use the pension credit calculator on the gov.uk website. It takes about 10 minutes, it's free, and it will give you a rough idea of whether you're likely to qualify. You don't need to have all your information perfectly to hand, just a general sense of your weekly income, any savings over £10,000, and whether you have any disabilities or caring responsibilities. If the calculator suggests you might be entitled, move straight to Step 2. Step 2. Make the claim. You can claim pension credit in 3 ways. Online at gov.uk, there's a dedicated pension credit claim page. By phone, you can call the pension credit claim line on 0800991234, and that number is free too. Call from landlines and most mobile networks, or by post you can request a claim form be sent to you. My honest recommendation? If you're comfortable doing it online, do it online. It's the quickest route. If you'd prefer to speak to someone, call the number. The phone lines can be busy, so try calling mid-morning on a weekday if you can, and be prepared for a bit of a wait. But the people on the other end are there to help, and they're used to walking people through the process. When you make the claim, you'll need to have a few things ready: your national insurance number, details of your income state pension, any private or workplace pensions, any other regular income, details of any savings or investments over £10,000, your bank account details, and if you're a homeowner, your mortgage details, if you still have one. Step 3. Specifically request backdating. When you're making your claim, tell them you want the claim backdated to the earliest possible date. You're entitled to request up to 3 months of backdating, and if your claim is approved, this could mean your claim is treated as active during the qualifying week even if the formal approval comes slightly later. Step 4. Chase it up. If you've applied and haven't heard anything, don't just wait. Follow up. The WPRA is dealing with a significant volume of claims right now, partly because a lot of people are doing exactly what you're doing and getting their applications in ahead of the deadline. It's completely reasonable to call and ask for an update on your claim's progress. And Step 5, this one's for everyone watching, not just those applying for pension credit. If you're already receiving pension credit and you haven't received any communication about the winter fuel payment, contact the WPRA to confirm that your payment is coming. Just double check. It takes 5 minutes and could save you a lot of worry. Now, pension credit is the big one when it comes to unlocking the winter fuel payment, but I want to mention a few other things that often come alongside it, because if you do qualify for pension credit, you might also be entitled to other support you don't know about. Housing benefit. If you're renting, pension credit can open the door to additional help with your rent council tax reduction. Many local councils offer significant reductions or even full exemptions on council tax for pension credit recipients. It's worth contacting your local council to find out what's available in your area. The Warm Home Discount. This is a separate £150 discount on electricity bills, and while the qualification criteria are slightly different, many pensioners on lower incomes do qualify. Check with your energy supplier. Cold weather payments. These are automatic payments of £25 that kick in when temperatures drop below a certain level for 7 or more consecutive days. If you're on pension credit, these come to you automatically. I'm not going to get deep into all of these today because each one deserves its own full video, and actually, if you want me to do a deep dive on any of these, let me know in the comments and I'll get that sorted. But the point is, if you qualify for pension credit, the winter fuel payment is just the beginning of what you might be able to access. Quick but important note here: if you're watching from Scotland, your situation is slightly different. The winter fuel payment in Scotland is now administered by the Scottish Government under a scheme called the Pension Age Winter Heating Payment. The Scottish Government has taken a different policy position and has continued to make this payment more broadly available. The qualification criteria and the process differ from England and Wales, so please do look up the specific Scottish guidance on MyGov, Scot rather than using the ukgov.uk guidance. I didn't want to skip past this because I know a good chunk of people watching will be based in Scotland, and the last thing I want is for someone in Edinburgh or Glasgow to follow England's specific advice that doesn't apply to them. Let me take a moment to speak to a slightly different group of people, those of you who are watching this not for yourselves, but because you're worried about someone else. A parent, a grandparent, a neighbor you've noticed struggling, a friend who you know is on a low income but has always been too proud to look into what help is available. This section is for you. The reality is that the people most likely to be missing out on pension credit and the winter fuel payment are often the people who are least connected to the internet, least likely to see a video like this, and most likely to quietly struggle through a cold winter rather than ask for help. If you know someone like that, please share this video with them, or and honestly, this is even better, sit down with them and help them use the pension credit calculator, offer to be there when they call the pension credit line, help them gather their documents. Sometimes people don't claim benefits they're entitled to, not because they don't want the money, but because the process feels overwhelming and they don't have anyone to help them navigate it. You could be that person for someone. And if you know someone who is isolated and you're not sure how to help, Age UK and Citizens Advice both have free helplines staffed by people who are brilliant at helping older people understand and access their entitlements. Those are always worth a mention. All right, let's bring it all together. The winter fuel payment worth up to £300 is no longer automatic for all pensioners. From now on, you need to be receiving an eligible benefit, and the main one is pension credit. The qualifying week for this winter's payment falls in September, with 27 September being the key date. You need to have in your head, if you're not already claiming pension credit and you think you might be entitled, apply now today if possible. You can do it online, by phone on 0800991234, or by post. Ask for backdating when you apply. And if you're already on pension credit, check that your winter fuel payment is on its way. It's not complicated once you know what to do. The barrier for most people isn't the process itself, it's simply not knowing that the process is necessary. And now you know. There is real money available to help people through what is likely to be another expensive winter. Don't leave it on the table because of a missed deadline or an assumption that didn't hold up. Check, apply, follow up, and help someone else do the same. If this video helped you, or if you think it might help someone you know, please share it. Genuinely, this is the kind of information that can make a real practical difference to someone's life this winter, and the more people who see it, the better. Drop a comment below letting me know your situation. Have you already applied for pension credit? Are you just finding out about this now? Are you helping a family member sort this out? I read every comment and I love hearing from you, and sometimes your questions become the next video. And if you're not subscribed yet, please do hit that button because I cover benefits, money-saving tips, and financial help that the mainstream media often doesn't explain clearly enough. My whole goal is to be that knowledgeable friend who's already done the research so you don't have to. There's another video on screen right now that I think you'll find really useful. It covers pension credit in much more detail, including how savings and private pensions affect your entitlement. Go and watch that next. It's worth your time. Take care of yourselves and let's make sure this winter is a little bit warmer.